Hey everybody, welcome to the Partnerships with Purpose podcast. We're going to explore ways to engage communities through service learning projects and research. I'm Cedric Schott with the Texas Target Communities program at Texas A&M University. We're hoping these stories will highlight and inspire more community-engaged partnerships. So today, we have Sam Collins III. He is a passionate community leader. He's a historian. He's a change maker from Galveston County, Texas, and he's known for his work in revitalizing the city of Hitchcock, especially after Hurricane Harvey. He's also done efforts to make Galveston the global center for Juneteenth celebrations through partnerships with universities like Texas A&M, Prairie A&M, Rice, and U of H. He's led award-winning community planning initiatives, and he's a visionary for cultural projects. Sam, he brings together people who turn plans into action, and he always leads with a purpose. So, Sam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's so good to be here with you today in College Station in Aggie Land. Always great to come back.
Yes, sir. So whenever you hear that intro, tell me what you're thinking. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got into this work.
Well, I am a seventh-generation Texan with roots back to 1837. So, this work of making our communities better is important to me and to my family. I am, first of all, a child of God. Second, husband, father, son, brother, family member, and community member. So, many titles, one purpose, to try to be light in a world of sometime darkness. I'm Aggie, class of 1993, so anytime there's an opportunity to work with Texas Target Communities to help the university and to help communities across the state of Texas, I'm all in. I'm an instrument to be used to try to make the world a better place. So, when I hear those things, I'm like, that guy's a good guy. So I'd like to meet him. So, each morning I get up, look in the mirror, and say hello to that amazing individual. And, we don't do this work alone, so it takes a team. If you're the brightest light in the room, then you need to find another room. And I always like working with other individuals that will not only help to make me better, but working with individuals to help them to become better, because it's not about us individually, but it's about the work we could do together collectively.
Yeah, and I've known you've done a lot of work collectively for Juneteenth. So, Sam, just take us into that work. Take us to the beginning. Tell us a little bit about the history and kind of some things that you've done there.
Yeah, Juneteenth is the holiday that celebrates the evolution of our country to a more perfect union. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger issues General Order No. 3 in Galveston. The myth around Granger doing it from the balcony of Ashton Villa is just that, a myth. The reality is once he got off of the ship downtown in the harbor, he went and set up his headquarters at the Osterman Building on the southwest corner of 22nd and Strand. He had an individual, Major Frederick Emory, under his command that actually wrote General Order No. 3. And then from Galveston, the message spread throughout the city and the rest of the state. So the news was not late. It was late to be enforced. And as one of my grandmother's childhood friends says, it was not a piece of paper that freed the enslaved people of Texas, but it was the men with the guns, is what her grandfather told her. And what he meant by that is that it was the soldiers that showed up and enforced the law for freedom to come. And then, Juneteenth, again, it's not just about that single day event. Freedom was a process. There are many emancipation days, but now Juneteenth is on the calendar as a national holiday. And long before it was a national holiday, it was important to the former enslaved individuals and their descendants to commemorate that holiday annually. So my wife and I, in 2005, in December of 2005, purchased an old historic property in the city and began restoring it. It was once owned by a Confederate soldier named Henry Martin Stringfellow, who actually had some ties to Texas A&M University He had a professor come from Texas A&M College in the 1890s to visit Hitchcock with regards to horticulture. Mr. Stringfellow was a world-renowned horticulturist, so there was that connection in the city there. And we began restoring the property, and we held our first Juneteenth celebration in 2006 on the property there, and had probably 500 people attend. We had corporate sponsorship, gave out free dinners. So Juneteenth and the annual celebration has always been important to our family, not only there in the city of Hitchcock, but in Galveston County, in Brazoria County, where we have deep roots, and other areas of the state. So if we fast forward to 2018-19, we begin doing additional work in Galveston to commemorate this history. And in 2021, Juneteenth became a national holiday. And when it became a national holiday, we began doing additional work in Galveston to establish not only not a national Juneteenth museum, because Fort Worth had put their flag in the ground for that, but a international Juneteenth museum. So Galveston is a major international port city, so we thought that it was important to keep that narrative centered in the birthplace of Juneteenth, which is Galveston, Texas. So you could read about Juneteenth. You could watch documentaries on Juneteenth, which I have also produced a documentary on Juneteenth. But it's like reading about swimming or watching a film on swimming. At some point, you have to get in the water. So individuals have to come to Galveston to get in the Juneteenth water, to be immersed in the story of the birthplace and the historic sites associated with the original Juneteenth date. Now, I don't want individuals to be stuck on that single day, because Juneteenth is about freedom and opportunity. When I think about my ancestors that came here in 1837, born in 1840, and other ancestors, would they have ever dreamed that their great grandson and granddaughters would be financial advisors, pharmacists, hold their master's degree, be engineers? So my children are 8th generation Texans, and they are living their dreams, and they are making the most of their opportunities because of education and opportunity. So institutions like Texas A&M, Prairie View are places where upward mobility is possible through education.
Man, Sam, I'm inspired as I'm listening right here, right now, and I'm just thinking about even just the magnifying glass you put on such an important holiday. Surely that it wasn't an easy road getting it to even to where it is now. He is showing me a magnifying glass.
Didn't know I had that, did you?
I did not know you had. So tell me about this magnifying.
So. You didn't know about the magnifying glass. You brought it up.
But
the magnifying glass, the base of it is made from a piece of wood from the freedom tree at the Sweeney Plantation. It was a tree that was carved on my historic site, and there was a piece of scrap wood that the artist had, and we made a pen and just a magnifying glass. So this is one of one, and I wear it around my neck to symbolize the ancestors being with me as I do this work. I don't wear it every day, but there are times that I'm doing special events or projects, and I had something today in Missouri City at the Freedom Tree in the Freedom Park there in Missouri City, and I knew I was coming up here to do this work. So the Freedom Tree was where the former enslaved were gathered. When we talk about Juneteenth, there was no Instagram or Facebook, so news did not spread instantly. So individuals, after leaving Galveston, went all across the state, spreading the message of freedom. Many of those soldiers were United States colored troops that have been left out of the narrative. Up to 75% of Union forces in Texas were USCT, often misidentified as Buffalo Soldiers. Buffalo Soldiers were not organized until after the Civil War in 1866. But the United States colored troops were organized much earlier in 1862. So these soldiers, with other Union soldiers, not alone, helped spread the message of freedom. And as they made it to various plantations. They would gather individuals in a central location, either around the main house or around a tree, which in Sweeney happened to be the Freedom Tree, later identified as the Freedom Tree, because they gathered there to tell them the news and share the news that they were finally free. And, you know, in General Order number 3, it says that all slaves are free, but the second sentence says this involves an absolute equality. The term's absolute equality is not about every human being having equal results, but about every human being having an equal opportunity to grow and develop into the very best version of him or herself without hurdles or barriers hindering that growth or development. Mm-hmm. So Juneteenth is important because after freedom arrived in Texas, over 500 freedom colonies were established. These former enslaved individuals began building schools, churches, communities, businesses, and even in a hostile environment after Reconstruction and the Compromise of 1877, they still found a way to prosper. And this is what inspires me to continue the work that I do today.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and when you talk about obstacles, that was something I've been thinking about is, okay, man, you have been doing it or continue to do many things for your community to, like I said, shine a magnifying glass on Juneteenth and its history. What are some of those obstacles that you've faced in getting here? Well, can you tell us about some of that?
You know, again, we cannot do this work alone, so we need allies. You know, one of the biggest supporters of the work that we've done in Galveston is Miss Sheridan Mitchell Lorenz. Miss Lorenz is a descendant or daughter of George Mitchell, who is also or was a former Aggie before he passed away. And the philanthropic work that the Mitchell family has done, not only in Texas or Galveston, but all around the world, led to Miss Lorenz seed funding the mural project that we did in Galveston, and also continuing to fund the Neocultural Center on the southwest corner of 22nd and Strand, which is now the Neocultural Center Juneteenth Legacy Project headquarters. So that work, or this work that we do, could not be done without allies and individuals like Miss Lorenz that has funded. But that also comes with challenges because there's so much work to do.
Yeah.
So the Mitchell family can't do all the work that needs to be done by themselves. Miss Lorenz or myself can't do the work. Miss Sue Johnson, who's the executive director of the Neocultural Center, can't do the work alone. And while there were pledges made 4 to 5 years ago to support a lot of the work, currently some of that work is under attack, and there is the possibility of erasure of some history and also attack against certain narratives. So I try to remain as positive as possible, and I try to be a light in dark areas. And what I tell individuals, I don't have time to debate theory. You know, gravity does not care if you believe in it or not.
If you jump off this...
Gravity does not care if you're Republican, or Democrat, or atheist, or believer, or Catholic, or Buddhism. It doesn't care what you believe in. If you jump off the building, gravity is going to give you the truth. And what we need to do is talk about the truth. And I believe if we talk about the truth will help us to grow and to heal and to move forward. So the challenges are getting individuals to see that sometimes the work that we do is not a personal attack against any individuals, but there are things inside our society that have been ignored. You know, I've often used, and anybody that's listening to me on radio or podcast or TV have heard me say this about the green salad. The lettuce and tomatoes are the stories we hear all the time about founding fathers, early settlers. But our history salad includes croutons, bacon bits, olives, pickles, other ingredients. So as we flavor up the history, as we talk about these things, it's not to take away from the lettuce and tomato. It's not to embarrass the lettuce and tomato. It is to make sure that we get the full story. And if the lettuce has some brown leaves and the tomatoes are kind of soggy, we might need to get those out of the bowl and get some fresh tomatoes and some fresh lettuce. So we don't want to feed you bad food. We want to feed you good ingredients.
That I definitely understand that, and I understand where those challenges can come from, especially when you're dealing with history and dealing with stories. That's when we say at TTC, we say in every community we are mindful of the past, and we also take stock of how far we've come, so that we won't make the same mistakes.
Absolutely. Maya Angelou has a quote: "History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again." So we just have to have the courage to face it and then not live it again and move forward. I want every individual in our community to be successful for good. There are individuals that may be doing evil or bad. I do not want them to be successful. But for individuals that are working for good and for the betterment of all, then yes, we want to work with those individuals to make the world a better place.
And that is great. So as that work is continuing, if someone were to just kind of step foot in Galveston and kind of experience some of these Juneteenth celebrations and some of these events you're going on, what would they experience? What would that be like?
Yeah, so Galveston has probably 3, sometimes 4 weeks of activities. You have galas, dinners, concerts, comedy shows, poetry. You have plays at the Opera House. You have lectures. There are many activities going on. You could go to JuneteenthBirthplace.com where you can see a list of those activities. And the thing is, we want Juneteenth to be a 365-day-a-year conversation in Galveston and Galveston County, because it's not just about the one event of issuing General Order Number 3, but what it meant afterwards for freedom. So as we move into the 250th anniversary of the country from 1776 to 2026, this 160th anniversary of Juneteenth is a basic kickoff to a year-long celebration of freedom. We value freedom in Texas, in America, and in the world. So anyone that believes in liberty, in freedom, and individual choice should celebrate Juneteenth and the 4th of July. These are 2 freedom birthdays. One, June 19th, 1865, the other, July 4th, 1776. One of the things when we talk about this holiday, too often it's only associated with pain and suffering and slavery. But again, Juneteenth is about freedom and opportunity. It's about success and accomplishment. It's about business, schools, education, faith, family, and freedom. So we all should celebrate those things. And it's not an African-American holiday. It is a World History Day. It is a Texas event that became a national holiday and a worldwide celebration of freedom. There are Juneteenth celebrations that will happen this year in Ghana, in Nigeria, all around the world. Wow. So what happened here in Texas matters. What happened in America matters. And what is happening today to keep this history alive matters. So I want everyone to be involved, join in the celebration, take part in celebrating freedom. You cannot celebrate the 4th of July and not acknowledge also the importance of a day like June 19, 1865. And I want to be clear that we also acknowledge the indigenous people that lived in these spaces before 1776, before 1619, before 1528. So there are human beings that lived all over the planet that all had the same dreams and hopes that you have. You know, when my children entered the world, I wanted to do my best to take care of them and help them to be successful. I think every parent, no matter where they're at on the world, hopefully would want the best for their child. And when we see every child on the planet as our own child, I think we would be a better world. If we wanted for every child what we want for our own child or children, then I think we would be a better place.
Yeah, we need to invest more in the future, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Even though sometimes I wonder if I invested too much in my children's education.
Really not. I know. Oh, it seems like they're paying off for sure right now. If you'd like to learn more about our program, check out TAMU TXTC. If you'd like to hear more about Sam Collins, go to truthstrong.org. Thanks,